Welcome to 100 Days of Python, the Python Code Along Challenge. I'm Bill Mosley, and if you want to find the entire listing of the 100 Days of Python, you can find it at my website, www.bmosley.com/hdp. Let's get started. So, for our last installment of the Fractal Tree series, on day 51 here, we're going to copy over the code from day 50 and start working with that. Now, this is what we have so far. Just run that really quickly. If you remember, it's creating a more realistic tree, more balanced shape with leaves of different colors. And it'll create a different tree each time I run this, but all using the same basic formula. So all of these trees are essentially related to each other through their mathematical composition. So what we're going to do this time is I want to randomly add little blossoms to the tree just to spruce it up a little bit more. And so this will give us a little bit more practice with drawing shapes and randomly adding those to our fractal image. So what are we going to do first? First thing we need to do is we need to capture, because the flower shape is going to put our mouse in a weird place in terms of going back down the branch. So when it goes back here at this point in the code, we need it to be in the right place, which is where it would be normally. But now we have to make sure, and we did that with set heading to make sure that it was pointing in the right direction, but now it's going to be in a completely different place. So we've got to remember where it was. So I want to go right after this forward travel, and I want to capture the position and the heading. So I'm going to say top position, and I'm going to say L position for last position. And I'm just going to use the position function. That'll return a tuple with the X and Y coordinates. And I'm going to say float last heading equals, and I better fix my capitalization here, but we're going to say equals heading. So now at that point in time, I've captured the position and the heading, and that way I can jump back to those whenever I need to. I'll use those in just a minute here. Now I'm going to scroll up above my draw branch right here, and I'm going to begin creating a draw flower function. So the first thing I want to do is, of course, declare the function draw flower, and we'll say int size and int petals. And that will allow me to specify the size and the petals on the fly. But the first thing I want to do is, because the flower is going to be related to the size and the position on the tree, I'm going to take the size and immediately divide it by 100. And those were reversed, so it's slash equals. Basically, that takes whatever's in int size, divides it by 100. That'll make sure that the flower is the right scale. Next, I'm going to come up with a list of colors. And again, I'm getting those from any web page that lists the color names. But these will just be a few light pink colored flowers, pale violet, red, and that'll give me some variety in my image, which contributes to realism. So I'm going to just type those out. And that should be great for my color list. And next up, I'm going to calculate the angle between petals. And since the flower is 360 full degrees, I'm going to say 360 divided by the number of petals. That'll give me the angle between petals so that it'll draw the full 360 degree flower. Next, we're going to set the color to random dot choice, and we'll give it the list of colors to choose from. And now we're going to draw the petals of the flower. So we're going to say for P in range 0. Well, we can just say int petals. We could say 0 to int petals, but same thing here. Always starts at 0 by default. And then we're going to say begin fill, because this is where we're going to start to fill the shape. And we're going to say for X in range, and we're going to do this twice. This is easier than typing the command twice. I'll say circle, and we'll say 5 times int size for 10 degrees, and then another part of a circle, and we'll say 100 times int size and 170 degrees. Now if you calculate that twice, that gives us a full 360 degrees, which is nice because we end back where we started, which makes things convenient. And we call end fill to fill in that shape. And then we're going to turn to the right the angle that we calculated. And that will give us the petals. Now, I want to also draw the middle of the flower. So we're going to move the turtle into position and then draw a quick little circle in a darker pink. So we're going to go forward. So we're going to go 70 times int size. And again, we're scaling everything using int size here, so it's included in all of the forward measurements. We're going to turn right 90 degrees. And then we will change the color. And I'm going to use medium violet red for this center of the circle. And again, we have to call begin fill to tell it we're beginning a shape that we want to fill. Then we draw a circle, and I'm going to draw it -80, so that means it's going to go counterclockwise. And int size, and it's going to be a full circle, so I don't have to specify the extent, and then I call end fill. Now, this should draw a small flower of int size wherever I have that location. Now, the final piece of this is that I need to implement this. And the place where I'm going to do that is right here. And every time it draws a bunch, there's going to be a chance that it will draw a flower. Now, what is the chance? I'm going to say if random.randint 1, 3 equals 1. So in other words, there's a 1 in 3 chance that the flower will get drawn. Then what we're going to do is draw a flower, and we'll say size is 10, petals is 6. And then we need to reset, after we draw the flower, we need to reset the turtle back to where it was. So we're going to call pin up, and then we're going to go to top last position, and we're going to set heading to FL last heading, and then we're going to put the pen down. And that should give us flowers in some parts of the tree. Let's give this a run and see what happens. Okay, so you can see it's randomly drawing some flowers here. Okay, so here is a couple of different examples of the finished product that I captured before the window closed. You can see that every time you do this, every time you run the script, it's going to give you a different fractal image of the tree with the flowers. So there's a lot there to play around with. Of course, you could change up the shape of the flowers or the shape and size of the leaves, colors, and so on. So have fun with that. And that's it for the fractal trees. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video and coding along with me. Once again, if you want to access the entire listing of 100 Days of Python, you can do it at my website, www.bmosley.com/HDP. You can also access my book, Introduction to Python Programming for Absolute Beginners, at my website, www.bmosley.com/book. Thanks again, and we'll see you around.